The cast have been rehearsing for the Shakespeare comedy As You Like It, staged here in the open air in Sophia Gardens by the Everyman Theatre. It's proving to be a popular hit, the third of their open air plays in this festival season. The cast have been rehearsing and are ready for tonight's performance.
I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. I've as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess your coming before him is nearer to his reverence.
Boy!
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I spoke to the director about why they set the play in Ireland.
Because, I mean, the honest answer is that I heard, I've always been interested in the Edwardian period. I think it's a really fascinating time in British history, but also in the world history. Just before we went to war, the First World War, things had begun to shift quite significantly. We'd seen the Industrial Revolution, and that was kind of playing out all the towns and cities. There was a huge drive towards living in the metropolis, really. And so there were also the beginnings of people who were not happy with this, this way of life. Obviously quite wealthy people. The workers didn't get a chance not to be happy and to say they weren't. And so there was an alternative beginning to spring up. And you saw things like the workers' educational movement, you saw things like the arts and crafts movement coming in. And so there was a real chance for people to set up an alternative lifestyle. And now, obviously, we're quite used to people going off and living in the woods and setting up a commune and, being ecologically, sound and so on. But then it was all quite new. And I think that with the coming of war in 1914, the world completely changed, and that all went away again, and we had to wait a long time for it to come back. So, but also I'm a huge folk music fan, and particularly traditional music from all the nations, Welsh folk music as well. So I really wanted an opportunity to bring in some of those story songs into the production. Music really helps with Shakespeare outdoors. We've got a beautiful setting here, and that's really underpinned by some of the songs, I think. So. There are a number of songs throughout, obviously, Shakespeare's plays, but quite a lot of them are in As You Like It, and so it's a real opportunity to get the cast singing and to get the audience singing. We even get the audience singing at one point. So yeah, and it's a play that relies heavily on music. I think it's a musical play.
By the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon, with your pikes upon your shoulder, by the rising of the moon.
It is a real challenge, I mean, for all sorts of reasons. I was involved in the festival as a teenager, so when we were at Dufferin Gardens, so I had quite good training in the challenges of it, and I was very pleased to be invited back as the professional director, sort of 20 years later or whatever. But I still remember some of the things that we had to do in order to make the production successful, including, you have to have a wet weather version, and you have to kind of decide where you're going to pick up the umbrellas, and the audience are beautifully undercover here, but the actors get wet if it rains. So that is the challenge. Obviously, we've got a wide community cast, made up by a mixture really of long-standing Everyman members who bring a lot of experience to the production. Some people who've never performed with Everyman before. Some of the younger actors are off to drama school in September. So bringing them all together so that they're in one company and that they openly share all of that experience and are available to kind of play and to be open to new ideas is always a challenge, I think.
So it's an open-air production of Shakespeare's As You Like It, but the audience will be undercover here at Sophia Gardens. So far, the festival has proved a success with its adaptations of Sweet Charity and Blackadder.
I may have a brain the size of a sultana.
Correct.
But this hardly seems fair to me.
Well, of course it's not fair. And a good thing, too. If you like a baldric the vote, and before you know it, we'll have cavorting druids, death by stoning, and dung for dinner.
Next up is Beauty and the Beast.